Rev up your engines!
Two Ray says, is blinker fluid even a real thing? My friend told me his mechanic changed it. I never heard of that. Okay, that is one of the stupidest, oldest jokes. I don't know why people even came up with it. You know, we got to change your blinker fluid. Of course, you know, it's totally made up. There's no such thing as that. For some reason, people with a few brain cells in their head think it's a funny joke to say, you know, he had his blinker fluid changed, or you need your blinker fluid changed. It's a really bad taste, stupid joke. Some people use. Real mechanics would never use it or do something that's stupid. You know, guys who aren't mechanics use it as a joke, ha ha ha, but a real mechanic would never use it because, one, it's insulting. You don't want to insult your customers. I don't care if people don't know anything about their cars. I will educate them so then they'll know the truth. Because if you start doing nonsense like that, then it leaves the door open to pure fraud where you charge people for things that you didn't even do. So, yes, it's not real, but it's just a stupid idea that somebody came up with years ago that foolish people keep just using on and on and on. But it's not real. Silver Demon says, Scotty, my girlfriend recently decided she needs a new car. Currently has a 2008 Chevy Aveo with 160,000 miles. She asked me to look, and I found a 2008 Camry LE 2.4 with 95,000 miles. Now, of course, you can't trust anybody, so have a mechanic check that Camry out. But if it's a good car, that'd be the smartest move she could ever make. That'd be like going from the fire into a nice jacuzzi. Those Aveos, I'm amazed she got 160,000 miles out of an Aveo. That is amazing. I've never seen one go that far. Now, maybe it's a lot of highway miles, and I mean, if it's a lot of highway miles, 160 highway is like 16,000 city driving, a lot less wear. I'm assuming that's what it was, but it's a smart move. She gets rid of that Chevy. It's not really a Chevy anyway. They're made somewhere else in another country. That Camry, she'll be happy. Oh, and the red says, is a BMW 5 Series worth it as a project car for daily driving? BMW 535 1980 for $1,000 with 990,999 kilometers on it. So that's what, like 600,000 miles or something. If you like working on expensive cars, go right ahead. But don't ever think you could use that thing for daily driving unless you did the whole thing over and you'd spend 20 times what you paid for the car doing that. 1980, so what? It's a 40-year-old BMW. All the rubber's going to be rotten. All the electronics are going to be going bad. Unless you want a lawn ornament to stick on your front yard, I would advise to stay away from that thing. Run away. If you really, let's say, you can't stand your wife and you want something to go outside and work on the rest of your life, go right ahead and buy it. Scotty's friend said, Scotty, can a Mazda that's used, maybe 1 to 3 years old, be a decent buy if it's made in Japan and not using a Jatco transmission? Yes, it actually can. You picked a really good thing there. As I've told people recently, Mazda and Toyotas are having deals. They used to be Mazda and Ford. Now it's Mazda and Toyota. They got a factory in Alabama where they're making them on the same assembly line, both Mazdas and Toyotas. And the 1 to 3 year old ones can be great. Mazda and Toyota, they don't use the Jatco transmissions now. And I have customers with those cars, and they love them. They've had a very good experience with the ones. If you go back 8-10 years, the Mazdas had all kinds of problems. When they had affiliations with Ford, they had all kinds of problems. The motorcraft parts weren't working on the engine cams. They had all kinds of problems as they aged. The newer ones, yes, it could be a good buy. Steven 1203 says, if the front axles start failing, will they start making a grinding noise or other noise? Thanks. They can do all kinds of things, but generally the main thing that happens is CV axles are called half shafts. There's one on the left side and one on the right going to the front wheel. The inside, there's a CV joint with a rubber boot, and on the outside, there's another rubber boot with the other CV joint. So there's 4 joints in total, 2 on each side. Generally what happens is the boots rip, the grease comes out, and they start to wear, which is easy to see. You just jack it up, look under there. The boots are solid, not covered in grease, they're fine. And if they aren't, you got to replace them. Now, when they do wear, generally, the first sign is when you're taking a hard turn and accelerating, they'll clack, 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 because they're getting on the edge of the gears as you turn, and when you accelerate, they'll make a lot of noise. And while you're accelerating, if you take your foot off the gas, generally the noise will quiet down some. Then you know they're worn. Now, they can actually wear other ways, but as long as the boots are on solid, they generally don't wear unless the car's been in a wreck and stuff was bent. Normal wear and tear is just the boots ripped and the joints lose grease, and then they wear out, and then they make that clacking noise when you turn and accelerate. accelerate. NC Surfer says, Scotty, I got an '09 Toyota Corolla, 119,000 miles, and a 2013 Subaru Outback with 50,000 miles. Both are running perfectly. I only need one car. Which would be the most reliable in the long run? Oh, the Corolla by far. It doesn't matter that it's got more than twice the mileage of the Subaru, especially if you have what most people around me buy when they buy an Outback. They get the 6-cylinder engine. I got a customer with one that has a 6-cylinder engine, and he's got like 65,000 miles on it. The engine's already making noise. They're notorious for wearing out. Now, if it's a 4-cylinder one, they are somewhat better built, but nothing like a Corolla. The Corollas regularly go 3, 4, 500,000 miles or more, and the Subarus, they generally don't, especially if it's a 6-cylinder Subaru. I never advise you to buy a 6-cylinder Subaru of any type unless you're the type of person that buys a new one and gets rid of it before it's got 80, 90,000 miles on it. The Corolla for sure on that one. Nick Wilson says, Scotty, I'm looking at a 2015 Nissan Versa manual tranny, 140,000 miles for $4,000. Now, you don't like Nissans for the CVTs, but what about a manual? Alrighty, now it's got 140,000 miles on it, and it's a Nissan Versa, which is one of their cheaper made cars. With the standard, maybe it'll last. $4,000 is absurd for one of those things with 140,000 miles on it. Offer them $2,500. See how low they go. And if it does run good and the mechanic checks out and says it's okay, pay them a lot less than $4,000 because they have no resale value. You can throw those stupid books like Edmunds out the window with those. They're junky vehicles and the resale values plummet for the real world where you're paying cash. You said it's $4,000. Sure, at a car lot, they get more money for them because they're financing it. But if you're paying cash, hey, tops that thing would be worth maybe $2,500. Racer X says, I bought a 2017 Mazda 6 Grand Touring 2.5 liter non-turbo automatic a while ago. What are the common problems? You don't think it'll last? And it's 56,000 miles on it. That's when Mazda was starting to really make their cars a lot better. Take care of the car. It's a non-turbo, which is good. Means it's going to last a lot longer. You never know how long those things can last. When you get a good one like that, I've had customers with Mazdas that got the good ones. Some of them were going 150, 180, and they were still running pretty strong. Looks like Lexus is going to have an autopilot system like Tesla soon. Realize that there are no self-driving cars on the market yet. This is called level 2. There's a lot more layers to go for the cars could actually drive themselves. But they're making a system that competes with the Tesla system. A self-updating system over the airways too. So it's better software comes out and upload and be on the computer. So you don't have to think, well, gee, I bought last year's model. Now the upgrades aren't in it. It'll be upgradable while you're driving down the road. The system's going to use LiDAR and cameras to allow it to pass people, drive down the road. You still got a driver with your eyes on the road. That's part of the rules of the system. But it'll let you pass cars, change lanes, and follow other cars. They didn't say what vehicle they're going to put it in yet, but you can be sure it's going to be one of their top-of-the-line expensive ones. That's how they always put that new technology in. Now, if you're seriously thinking about a big electric car, realize one thing. They are heavy. The 2021 Ford Mach-E weighs over 1,000 pounds more than the heaviest Mustang. That's generally the thing with electric cars. I was driving around in an electric smart car, and that thing weighed 40% more than the gasoline or diesel model smart car because of the electric motor that's pretty heavy and the battery pack that takes it. It was like 1,500 pounds for the gasoline version, but it was like 2,400 pounds for the electric version with lithium batteries, which are heavy, and the electric motors. Electric cars are not light. The Tesla's a pretty heavy car too. The range they want to get, they got to put in big batteries. Big batteries are super heavy. You get to a point of no return sometimes. You get a big battery, which costs more, and you get a longer range, but then it weighs more, so it's got to pull itself more. The Mustang E is going to weigh almost 5,000 pounds if you get the one with the biggest battery and has the most power. It's a pretty heavy vehicle. There's no arguing that. Now, they presently are producing the 2021 Mustang E's in Mexico, but they don't expect to deliver them until late 2020, according to Ford. They're going to be made in Mexico. Maybe not such a smart move. From my experience, the vehicles made in Mexico, quality, a lot of times it isn't what it should be from the various manufacturers. Doesn't matter who's making vehicles in Mexico, I see their quality control seems to be much lower than it is in other places. We'll wait until they come out and see what happens to them. I mean, it's a new thing, never been made before. Now it's made in Mexico. We'll see if they have any teething problems, and they say it's going to be late 2020. We'll find out. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.